Hello and welcome back to the AI Marketers Playbook, where we cover actionable frameworks to help you leverage AI in your business. I'm Audrey Chia, your host, and today I have with me the LinkedIn video queen and legend, Lindsay Rosenthal. Now, she is the founder of CRED Marketing, a video content creation platform for founders, executives, and busy thought leaders. Now, Lindsay has successfully built and scaled her own AI-powered marketing agency and has been featured on Forbes, driving tech and media-enabled growth for global companies. Thank you for being here, Lindsay. It's so great to have you.
Such a pleasure. Thanks for the introduction and thanks for having me.
Awesome. So, can you tell us a bit more about yourself and your background and how you got into your business?
Yeah. So my background has been kind of a mix. I basically started podcasting, consulting, building products back in my dorm room in college. And my friends would be out in class. I think I'd be in the dorm room doing podcasts, talking to people. There'd be mornings where so I played volleyball for my university. People would go off to practice. I would squeeze in the meeting, 5:30 a.m. Someone in Europe. So I started podcasting, consulting for my college dorm room, which kind of led me to where I'm at today, doing more marketing and AI consulting focused. And that's kind of where my passion's at today. I build a lot on LinkedIn, and I've kind of gone to the niche of being able to build out a lot of awesome video content for founders and CEOs across the world, which we can talk all about more about the importance of video content with marketing and how LinkedIn's pushing it like crazy. But that's what I do now. I'm able to have the pleasure of talking to some of the coolest people across the world and being able to spread their voice and their thought leadership and do so across my LinkedIn as well.
Oh, that's super cool. I would love to take a look at the first podcast you in your dorm room. That would be so. Please post that one day. I'll be looking forward to that.
Someday. I mean, we've come a long way. Practice makes progress. So, yeah.
Definitely, and I think what people don't realize is the power of video, right? Because as you can tell on all social platforms, video content is being pushed out, especially short form videos. So, what have you realized or noticed on LinkedIn specifically?
Yeah. I mean, there's no joke. We're seeing short form content across the internet right now. I think TikTok came up like crazy. Everyone started posting on there. And I think every single social media platform was like, I want to start doing that as well. We saw Instagram start pushing short form video content, YouTube, and everyone on Instagram that started pushing short video content started growing like crazy. And there's always been the capability to post short form video on LinkedIn. I've been posting it for almost a year now, and in the past I used to get some hate for it because it didn't perform as well on LinkedIn. And my whole thing was is I don't care if it doesn't perform well because I'm building trust, familiarity, and it's getting me really great leads for my company. But ever since maybe 2 months ago now, LinkedIn actually pushed out a TikTok style video tab within its mobile app. And there has been a world of a difference when it comes to it pushing actually short form video. You put short form video out yourself, Audrey. I'd like to hear if you've noticed the same thing, but they are actually starting to push it now, which has been really exciting over the past handful of weeks. I've seen weeks that are like 500,000 impression weeks. It's been crazy. And so it's just been cool to be able to start to lean into it more and see other people lean into it more and kind of see it starting to rise and have its impact. I've never been one to be as excited about the numbers. It always comes down to more about the trust that it's building, the familiarity, which actually brings like real business impact. But with more eyes on content brings more leads. And so having me pushed by the platform more is obviously never a bad thing.
Definitely. It's interesting because I started my LinkedIn journey about 1 year ago. And it's true that 1 year ago when I tested video formats, right? Just nobody really cared. I think because it didn't look organic or native to the platform. And at that point in time, carousels or text only posts performed better because it was seen as professional. But as you know, because the algorithm has changed and people's perception of like LinkedIn also has changed, it became more social. And that's when like people started sharing more personal stories. People started sharing their expertise through videos. And you can see that, like what you said, the impressions on videos have increased dramatically since the start.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting to point too. I think LinkedIn really started out as a job platform and then it kind of moved into sales platform. Like they kind of came out with Sales Navigator, which is an incredible tool. And I feel like now they're starting to really tap into it being a social platform. And when it comes to social platforms, the only goal for social platforms is to have more eyes on the platform for longer so they can push out more ads. And I think they started to realize that videos really help with that. Like if you're watching the first 5-6 seconds of a video, that's a lot longer than 5-6 seconds on just a simple text post or even scrolling past sometimes like an info sheet sometimes. And so I feel like video content really leans into the goals of social platforms of pushing out more advertisement, making more money. So I feel like at the end of the day, as long as you're aligning yourself with the goals of the social platform, and that's more eyes and pushing out the topics that are doing well on LinkedIn, I think that's just like the way to go, hands down.
I think the other interesting thing to talk about is also the creator economy. Like, every other platform has their own set of creators or influencers. And I think on LinkedIn, you're starting to see that a lot more. So on other platforms, it's very easy for a brand to sponsor a creator and get things done. I think LinkedIn is a little slow to the game, but they are also starting to catch on. And you can tell that, as more and more people enter the platform, creators will also become a media channel for brands to leverage. And that's why I think videos are such an important asset for anyone to start having and building for themselves. With that,
Yeah,
I would also love to know from your point of view, right? What makes a great LinkedIn video?
it's a great question. And this has actually switched kind of a little bit over the past 2 months. Like last year or 3 months ago, I don't know, the style of video changed. I one to one aspect ratio was like kind of the only one that was the only LinkedIn was the only platform that had 1-to-1 aspect ratio native. And so when I would create content for companies myself, it would have 1-to-1 for LinkedIn, and you would have like vertical for Twitter, and you'd have upright for TikTok. And so you'd have all these different vertical versus different kind of aspect ratios. And now they're starting to really lean more into just vertical aspect ratios because that's what pops up on the new like TikTok video feed. And so vertical aspect ratio is kind of a new tip that I would say. And then the other tips I think would just be just best practice when it comes to short form video content. And that is one, have a really catchy, interesting opening. If it's boring in the first second or two, no one's going to stay past that. So I think that's really important. When it comes to like length, usually I'd recommend around a minute. But if it's really valuable information, like an in-depth, more of a masterclass or a demo of a product, you can have it a little bit longer. People, if they're going to watch, they're going to watch. But kind of sticking around that short form style feed is a good one. And then I think just shorter versus longer is usually better. I like to kind of keep it to the point, interesting, clear versus rambling on because everyone's busy. No one has time to watch the whole thing. So
The optimal kind of, time frame that you try to keep your videos to.
yeah, I would say I try to keep mine around a minute. A lot of times I go over that because I get so excited about the topics or it's a demo or something. But I would say ideally around a minute. You see some top people who post content across platforms like Cody Sanchez or Alex Ramosi, and sometimes their videos are straight up 15 seconds long. They're quite
Yeah.
short. So I think it's whatever is needed to portray the idea is kind of the optimal time. If it's just a quick, catchy topic and it's 15 seconds, it's 15 seconds. If it's a longer demo, idea, short masterclass, maybe a minute, minute and a half, I could see being adequate.
Yeah. What I've also noticed is that longer form videos may not work as well. So what you can probably do is to do like a super short clip on LinkedIn. And if you want to really nurture and educate your audience, then you bring them to another platform to watch the long form video, that could work. But I also realized that people's attention spans, as we all know, are getting shorter and shorter. So start with a good hook, have like a very clear messaging structure, and of course a clear call to action. I think those are basic frameworks that you can take from post copywriting to LinkedIn video content creation, right? But with that, I would also love to deep dive into your process, Lindsay. Is there anything you can share with us about how you would actually leverage AI to streamline your workflows?
Yeah. When it comes to my process, I have kind of a little basket of tools that I love to use. Obviously, when it comes down to text content tools, u.com's one of my favorites. They have just an amazing offering with amazing outputs. They, one, have access to any model that you could ever want. So if you want to like have a place that has, you pay once and you get all the models, you can use u.com for that. On the other hand, they have modes like research mode, genius mode that are just out of this world amazing. So u.com is my go-to. That's the first thing I go click on whenever I want to start creating ideas, creating content ideas. On the other hand, I still pay for ChatGPT because I do love their GPTs. That's something that I have stuck with my subscription at ChatGPT because I do love their GPTs. I am excited to see Gemini. They're coming out with their Gems, which will be a play on ChatGPT's GPTs. Those are going to be interesting to see how they integrate some of the Google Suite and YouTube into those. So I'll definitely be keeping an eye on those. And then lastly, my third favorite and most used tool is Descript. This is a video creation tool, which I will show. When it comes to AI video tools, I think one of my most asked questions is what tool A do I use and what are my thoughts on the kind of different types of tools? And basically my response, all people have heard of like Opus Pro, that's one. And that's kind of like one side of the spectrum of AI tools, and I would say the other side of the spectrum is Descript. When it comes to Opus Clip, it's infamous for like grabbing a podcast with Sam Altman, throwing it in there and getting like 50 clips, and kind of more like the less time but less quality approach. But when it comes to AI video editing tools, that's like maybe a little bit more time but higher quality. I would say Descript is there. It's obviously way easier to use, which I'll show you, than Premiere Pro. Like, I went to school for finance. I did not go to school for video creation, but anyone can use Descript, including me and my grandma, and I've created a business off of it, which is incredible. So let me show you kind of what it looks like. This is like my secret sauce, but let's do...
That will be awesome. And for those of you who are listening to the podcast and cannot see the screen, Lindsay will walk you guys through what we are seeing. And definitely check out this script. It's a very powerful tool. I actually adopted it after Lindsay recommended it, and there was no turning back after you get started with this script. So yeah, Lindsay, over to you.
Yeah, Descript is my favorite tool ever. It is the most time-saving thing ever. Basically, all you have to do is film a podcast like this. You can bring it in here and you upload it. I already have this video, which I just posted a couple days ago, but throw it in here and it creates you this awesome, basically, text script, which you can edit, like a piece of text content, which is really nice. And then you have your captions. Another question I always get the most is how do you do captions on your videos? Captions are huge if you're going to be posting video on social media. I would say half of the world is at work while they're watching your videos, and they can't just crank up the sound and listen to you talk. So captions are huge for impactful videos. And then the best part too is you're able to remove filler words with the click of a button, and you're also able to shorten word gaps with another click of a button. Something that if you're using Premiere Pro, something like that, it would take so long. So this is definitely one of my most used tools, which I would recommend for anyone.
I love that. I think for those of you who have not tried Descript, right, what I love about it is that you are able to take a look at your full podcast transcript. Sometimes you have like, a word, for example, if I say, or like, no, and I don't mean that, then you can quickly delete that word and they cut it out from your podcast, and it still sounds so natural and seamless, which was why I found it an absolute lifesaver, because if you're using another tool, you really got to zoom in to the exact frame, and then you have to press play and then press pause again and then figure out which part of the clip to remove, right?
Yeah, totally. At the end of the day, the whole goal here is to create more leads and more trust for your business. And video creation is a great way to do that. Like video content and content in general, I mean, the power of content. And so being able to take time away from the creation and time to actually pushing towards actually building your business is kind of the whole goal here. And I think this is a great tool to be able to do that.
I would also love to know, right? Because not everyone knows how to create videos. Basically, they don't even know what to talk about. Like, a CEO or founder could be like, what do I post about? What is your usual process like when it comes to brainstorming ideas and then turning it to the final video?
Yeah, I think it comes down to a couple different pillars depending on industry. So first of all, when it comes to the person, there are things that are important to them more importantly, important to their clients. So what kind of pain points are they solving for their clients every single day? And really nailing those down to a pillar or two of content that we can create videos for. That's the biggest one. Then being able to kind of create the person into more of a thought leader in the industry. So looking to what are the people who are leaving the industry, what are they talking about? Whether that's through press releases, maybe they're doing videos themselves. Like, what are the thought leaders in their industry talking about? And how can we take some content and some content pillars from there? And the whole idea of like talking to their clients, but also talking to leaders in the industry, it really comes down to, for if you're a leader of a company, kind of having that more strategic level content, talking to other strategic level folks. But I've worked with companies where I have content going out for people more at the high level, CEO, CTO, but then also working with some more people in more of the management role, so more marketing managers, sales folks, and that's where we want to kind of dive in more to like the tactical level content, like maybe straight up demos of their company information that really touches on the client, whatever the client is facing. And so it kind of depends if it's more of a strategic level folk versus like tactical level folk, but it all comes down to solving problems for clients versus like what's in and being talked about throughout the industry.
I love that. So you're actually capitalizing on, what is trending as well as your audience pain points to create like a really nice funnel. And I think for people who are new to content creation, right? Sometimes you have to think about content through the lens of a funnel. So your top of funnel kind of content could be us talking about AI, right? It doesn't really bring us credibility, but it brings us, visibility. And then you have the second part of your funnel, authority building, right? So if we do a demo on how we integrate AI into our workflows, that is authority and that is trust, right? And then finally, you have your bottom of funnel approach where, okay, what if we showed you a case study, how my clients grew their following by X number because of video content, right? So you can use videos across these three parts of the funnel, but you need to nail your content strategy and get it right. And for yourself, Lindsay, what do you think are some of the key things or the key mistakes that people make, when they're first starting out and creating content?
Yeah, I think some of the first mistakes people make, especially when they're making video, is they don't make it in the form of the viewer. So they start off and say, the other day I did this and this and this, and to them it's quite interesting because their day is quite interesting and they think it's quite interesting because we all have interesting days, But at the end of the day, they kind of forget that the beginning of the video talking about the build up to it is like the most crucial time to video. And the same goes for copy as well. That first sentence or two, the beginning, the hook, is the most important part of the copy. And so I think the biggest thing is just capturing attention, because someone already hopped in, they've watched the first couple seconds of the video and it really grabbed them. They'll stay a couple more to just kind of get the hook and get the kind of the rest of the content. But if you don't hook them at the beginning, then it's kind of a lost cause. And so I think the biggest thing is just optimizing the beginning. Sometimes it can be a little bit unnatural because you can kind of start off with this like big statement and then kind of give a little more of the backstory before you actually give the answer to that big statement, which seems a little bit weird sometimes, but I think when you start to understand the first big statement, the first hook at the beginning of the video is the most important. I think that's when some of the viewership and the impressions go up on your videos.
Yeah, definitely. Like the hook is so important, right? Even when I run ads, because sometimes I do ads for my clients, just tweaking that first line of the exact same ad can make such a huge difference, because if you already don't have your audience's attention and you already lost them, there is no point in building up the story, showing them your product. Nobody is going to pay attention to it if you don't capture their attention. Have you seen any specific types of hooks that have worked better for videos?
Yeah, I would say something. I mean, at the end of the day, it's social media. Socials is supposed to like catch your attention. And so I think the things that work best are attention grabbers. And so that's where like this is the biggest impact I'm seeing in X industry. That's like something that's always, everyone wants to be on the cusp of innovation. That's a big one I've used across clients, things like that. This is the biggest thing happening in X industry. This is the biggest way to optimize X process, things like that. Or everyone's wanting to, optimize their businesses. Everyone wanting to save time. Everyone's wanting to save money. So if you can kind of integrate your hook at the beginning of a video to adhere to that basic need, it's usually when it can do pretty well. Sometimes it's even better to add some numbers in there, kind of bring in a client example right afterwards, and so it shows credibility. But I think that's kind of usually the way to go. Something that's not bringing them astray to the rest of the video. It needs to be on point for what's coming next. So you can't just say this is the biggest thing ever and then kind of talk about something else.
Like
It
lunch.
has to actually be, yeah, exactly. You can't like catfish them for what the rest of the video is going to be like, but making it interesting, something that you would want to watch if you were just randomly scrolling on your feed as well.
Yeah, for interestingly, because I've been testing different post copy hooks, right? I realized on LinkedIn that post copy that starts with how I did this or how to tend to perform a lot better on LinkedIn. I think because most of the people here are here to learn. So when they see the word how, there's that trigger, right? And it works. And another interesting tip that I've tested with post copy hooks, if you choose to bold a certain word, like money or you or success, right? And if you choose to capitalize it in your headline, you will tend to get better results. And this was from a very fun experiment that I didn't even intend to launch, but my post wasn't loading. I thought I had uploaded my carousel, but I didn't. So I uploaded 3 carousels exactly at the same, at the same time. But me being a copywriter had to tweak the first hook because I was like, every time I uploaded it, I was like, I'm just going to try a new hook. And that was where I got the learnings that, hey, you know what? People respond better to how, and people respond a lot better to, you kept all bolding some of the keywords. So that's another interesting tip
Yeah,
for posts.
one hack I would do as well, and I do for my content, and I do for all my clients' content, is every couple weeks go to LinkedIn has great analytics tools that I think some people underuse. Go to the analytics tools and go look up your best performing posts for the last 28 days or 90 days, and just look at the list and see what are the commonalities. What are the topics that do well? What are the hooks that do well? What about those did well? And then do more of those. I looked back at this. I think I did a content refresh a couple weeks ago, or maybe 2 months ago, honestly now, and just looked back and said, what's performing well? And then lean more into that, especially if your goal is to get more impressions, to get more eyes, to then build more trust with more people. I think that's kind of usually the way to go, is just see what does well and then go off of that, which is really cool.
And a lot of people don't even realize that analytics and even looking at your data is key to content creation. A lot of people assume that it's just putting out content, like, oh, what are you doing in a day? But if you look at people who are consistently growing, like yourself, and growing so well, it's because you took the time to look at your data, look at your insights, figure out what's working and what's not, and re-optimize your content strategy. I truly believe that that's what differentiates, average content from great content, is when the creator knows how to optimize for success. And you can see that through different creators' growth. With that, I would also love to ask, right? I know on your LinkedIn, you talk about helping your clients, get 1 month's worth of content, in just one recording session. How does that happen? And how do you maximize that?
Yeah. So basically, it's pretty simple. I always get asked, how does this work? It's just exactly what it says. Basically, we schedule a call. Before the call, I do a deep dive into what we just talked about. So what's their business / what are the problems that their clients are facing? What are other things in the industry being talked about? What are the other thought leaders being talked about? Create up all the questions / the hooks that will do well. We hop on a call and we get them before the call. I send them the questions, so if they want to look into it, they do. Some people are love to prepare for the questions. Some people like to hop on and just flow through the call, which is awesome as well. So we hop on, go through the questions. I coach them on, let's redo this hook. Let's actually hit it at this angle instead. So we go through all the questions. We hop off. I create all the videos, create the copy if they want as well, and send it over. So that at the end of the day, it's the whole goal here is that these people are building awesome businesses and really emerging industries, and everyone's saying to them, if you're not putting out content, you're falling behind. Content is king, content is the future. And they're like, I'm just trying to build my business and get customers. And so the whole goal is just to have like 1 hour a month. That's it. Then we hop on a call, we do all the content, and they have all the content for the full month. Whether that's just a singular person on the leadership team, that is the whole leadership team and some of their tactical level folk, just being able to cut down on the content creation time, because content takes a long time, especially if you don't do it very much, and just being able to kind of expedite the whole process for these teams.
That is the LinkedIn video legend right there, guys. So you do not want to miss out on that. Look at Lindsay's process. It's optimized. I love it. And you also talked about using GPTs, right? Are you currently using GPTs to streamline any of your work processes?
Yeah, yeah. GPTs, like I mentioned, are what's holding me on to ChatGPT. I do love their GPTs. I think they are such powerful, easy to create tools that are $20 a month. You can literally make whatever GPT you want. I have Hook GPTs, I have LinkedIn script GPTs, I have LinkedIn copy GPTs, and so these are something that are you're able to train on what's the best output and then get pretty awesome information. I love the ease. Anyone can build them, no matter. So I always tell everyone, if you're doing something frequently every single day, build a GPT around it, because those are just such great tools that you can use to really optimize a section of your day. So yes, I love GPTs. They're the reason why I'm still holding on to ChatGPT versus just going exclusively over to u.com. So
Yeah, I can also testify how much of a time saver GPTs can be. And what I like to do is to sometimes train it on a certain strategy that I've found in a book, and then I just chat with it and brainstorm ideas. And the best part is because I like to think and walk at the same time. So I just have GPT on my phone and then I just have conversations with it. And because with the latest update, a lot of the conversations are going to become so much more natural. I think I'm going to
have
be
you been
spending a
able to
bit more
play
time.
with it at all?
No, I'm still waiting for it. How about yourself?
Oh, it's not in Singapore yet?
I don't think I have the latest update yet, but
It's cool. They don't
soon.
have. I didn't see it on my app, but I don't think they have the Vision one yet. They were showing
Yeah.
a lot of really cool Vision ones. I have the voice one. Check out the voice one in your app. You might have it. It's pretty. It's pretty cool. I also love the whole idea of like being able to chat on the go with it. And there was
Yeah.
a clip I saw, I think today, with Sam Altman saying that now through his workflows, he's on his computer, he's typing and stuff, and he just has his phone with the voice one out, and he's able to type, and instead of having to open up a new tab on your computer, you can just chat with the agent slash assistant on the side, which is really cool, like a new mode of conversation, a new mode of thought, like while you're working. I think that's a really cool thing. I seriously think that this update has been one of the biggest updates that we've really come across yet, besides the launch of ChatGPT. And I think the biggest reason why is the ability for better cross-border communication. I think that is the most exciting thing ever. One of the best demos that I saw from the newest release was the ability to talk into it and say, hey, can you please respond, in Italian, and have it be able to respond to Italian, and just being able to have, a translator. I think that's huge. Another thing too is just being able to have it be trained and have better output across languages. I think that's another cool thing. And then lastly, there is a lot of people in this world that either A, are visually impaired, B, are less proficient in writing, are now able to use technology and communicate way better than ever before. So I think this update is huge for so many people across the world, and the outputs are just pretty stellar as well. So
That is super exciting. I think this is, and we are still at, the tip of the iceberg, right? I'm pretty sure there will be so much more to come. And for those people who are still on the fence about AI, I really truly believe that just try adopting it and just test it out in your daily lives, right? Just have a chat, do a quick search, explore, because that's the only way you will know how to leverage it for not just work, but life and everything in between. And Lindsay, I think one thing I would love to find out from you is you are the founder of your own, consultancy, your own video editing firm. Do you have any tips for people who are trying to build their own business? Because it isn't easy, right?
yeah. the whole process is not easy. I've been doing consulting now for a couple years, and I feel like the first ways I've done a lot of projects with people across the world, and at first it was tough. Either it was a lot of cold DMs or reach outs to lots of people, in person networking, in person pitches, podcasting, and the game changer of my business was creating content. Like everyone talks about it, create content, create content, create content, but I don't think you realize like the opportunity that it brings every single day. And having it be my 24/7 sales manager has been just absolutely game changer. I can focus on, execution and, kind of more the visionary idea of the business and having to put less emphasis on doing 24/7 sales, where yes, you still have to do sales. Any sort of like founder led growth is always going to be sales, but having a sales assistant of content has been just the absolute game changer. And I would tell everyone, if you are building a business in 2024, to start with a content led engine and let it kind of grow from there. Yes, still, do your sales on the side, still nurture the clients you have right now, but just start creating content. And LinkedIn is the place to do it if you're going to come into any social media with more of a business mindset. I think LinkedIn is a very special place for that. Everyone that comes to LinkedIn is either wanting to learn something, become more efficient, they want to buy something when it comes to the business world. And so I think being able to start growing on LinkedIn, it is more crowded than it was in the past, but it's still so not crowded when it comes to
Yes.
any other social media. If you want to grow on YouTube, good luck. YouTube is social media Olympics. TikTok is growing like crazy. Who knows what it's going to be, if it's going to be in America in the next couple of years, but LinkedIn is definitely a place to build if you're a business, if you're a solopreneur, if you're wanting to just create a side hustle and you're in corporate right now, start posting on LinkedIn. There's really no bigger opportunity than that.
Definitely. I myself have unlocked so many doors. So when I first
Yeah, I want
started,
to
I
hear. I want
was
to hear you. You are a small business owner as well. You are also very young, so you grew up in the world of media and technology, and so you're like have that tool that you've obviously done amazing at. So I'd love to hear yours as well. Like, what is your tip that you would give the world to building a company in 2024, especially kind of social media first?
yeah, like what you said, I agree with you on with your start building an organic presence, because I always say your personal brand is your personal asset. Nobody can take it away from you. You can be in a corporate job, you can be building a side hustle, but if you build a personal brand, it's yours forever. And what you're actually building is trust and authenticity. Prior to LinkedIn, I was trying different channels. I tried talk, right? But it didn't really work out because the audience there weren't the buyers. So you need to find that channel fit as well. And once you find that and you start posting content consistently, and you need to also figure out who is the audience you're speaking to and what are your content pillars. Because there are people who are also posting content, but without a strategy, nobody knows what they're going to them for. Like, what do you talk about? Like, I have no idea, right? So if you're clear on that, it can unlock amazing doors for you. And for myself, I never would have imagined going from 0 to 30K in just 1 year and being able to speak at a Microsoft panel about AI as a copywriter with no prior AI experience. That is crazy. Like, so if for anyone who is still on the fence, this is your sign. If you're waiting for a video to tell you to do it, this is it. I think both of us have been through the same journey of unlocking multiple, opportunities and different doors by building a creator first platform and by really building our social media presence. So that is something that we highly recommend you to get started with if you haven't already. Awesome. And I think final things for people who want to look for, video editing and who want really tailored LinkedIn content, how should they approach you and where can they find you, Lindsay?
Yeah, definitely LinkedIn. I'm there every day. You can find me in Audrey's comment section. I'm also there every day as well.
Also
But
in
yeah,
your comment section.
yeah, but yeah, you can find either of us in each other's comment section. I am the biggest Audrey fan. She is leading the way. Happy 30K to Audrey. I'm sure by the time you post this video tomorrow, you'll probably be at 40 or 50K, which is amazing. But yeah, thanks so much for having me on. You guys can all find me on LinkedIn, Lindsay Rosenthal. Reach out if you need any help with video, or if you just want to come learn about AI. I post a lot about AIs there as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you guys for tuning into the AI Marketers podcast. Stay tuned and we will see you in the next video. Take care.